We are having a nice bounce today. Let's go to the wall. I'll show you exactly what's happening in the market at the moment. The Dow's up better than 1%. That's 400 points. S&P with a nice bounce. Technology bouncing back today. The Nasdaq trying to regain 14,600 on its way to doing just that. The 10-year note yield 183, just pushing 184. There's been a lot of technical damage lately, Dr. J. So many different sectors. Indices are either below their 50-day, their 200-day. We mentioned the Nasdaq closing in correction territory yesterday. What do you make of the bounce? Are you a believer in it? Should we be?
Well, when you and I talked last week twice, Scott, from overseas, I was saying we are more likely to bounce at that 200-day for the QQQ than we are to burn right through it. Doesn't mean that it's an all clear that has been sounded, but I'll be watching, and thus far, the volumes are very good. So one of the things, again, that you and I discussed was when you see a bounce and it's not coming on volume, and we've still got 3+ hours of trading left, when you're not seeing volume, then I'm very suspicious of that bounce. So if the volumes that were in the first 2.5 hours of trading today continue, Scott, then I'm going to say, yeah, they probably can go higher from here after they caught a lot of late shorts in the shorts and basically took the market higher into that.
Josh, we oversold or not sold enough. You know, you had some interesting commentary today on the reformedbroker.com that I urge everybody to check out about using the opportunity of this bounce to be a seller of things you may be overexposed in rather than a believer in some sort of long-term comeback for some of the most devastated names.
Yeah, I think it's so tempting when you're down really quickly, 20, 30% in a stock. It's tempting to look at a day like today and be like, all right, thank God. And then you form this idea in your imagination that if you just hang tight, all of those names are coming back to where you bought them, as though that's an important number to the markets, and you'll be able to get out even. I think our egos would prefer us to be able to do that. I think people, they overemphasize that possibility in their own mind, especially when the declines have been as quick as they've been just in the year-to-date period. It's really remarkable looking at some of the stocks that we talk about on the air every day, how quickly they've declined, and many of them declined from already having been down big from last February. So I think days like today, typically, they don't represent the end of whatever the trend has been. I think they represent just the sellers taking a break. And so I don't suggest that you look at your whole portfolio and just indiscriminately say, all right, I'm using the bounce. But in certain situations where stocks have kept you up at night, you're over-concentrated in a given name, you're fixated on a stock because it's not cooperating with you, those are the situations where you want to say, okay, I don't want to be the guy that pukes at the bottom, but I got this name now that's up 7%, having lost 20% in the last 2 weeks, and I don't want to be as big in that name anymore, or I don't want to be in this anyway. The reason I bought it was going up, and now that reason doesn't exist, and there is no fundamental reason why I still want to be an investor in this company. So a lot of traders become investors because their initial purchase goes against them. This is a nice chance to rearrange some things and make some moves. And I'm not just speaking prescriptively for everyone else. I'm doing that with a lot of positions in my own personal portfolio. I've lightened up in Uber. I've lightened up a little bit in CrowdStrike. I still have most of my position on. I just don't want to be as big as I've been because I don't foresee those stocks being back at 52-week highs anytime soon, and I want the flexibility. There are other situations, though, Judge, where I just started buying, and I was able to use this volatility to add. And Roblox is an example of that. I've lowered my average price. The selling there has been unbelievable. Another name, On Holdings, I just started buying it. A very, very fast 10% came out of the name. I was able to add to my position there. So I think it's situational. It's not an across-the-board macro call. It's just about using these opportunities to get yourself in a better position mentally.
Okay. So, again, just to underscore the fact that you've been buying a little on the dip of Roblox and On Holdings, I don't want that to get glossed over.